All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to talk about Jaron Boots Ennis getting a fight date. But the bad news is that means it is not going to be against the people we want to see him against. However, also, big fight announcement or date for Gervonta Tank Davis, right on top of Frank Martin and Michelle Rivera getting one. So it seems as if the PBC ain't as broke as people were acting like they are. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to talk about great fight that is going, well, actually, a great fighter. Two great fighters that have just announced that they have fight dates coming up. And you have Jaron Boots Ennis saying that he's locked and loaded for his next fight. He has a fight date. He has a fight venue. But unfortunately for everybody that was looking for certain fights from him, it's not going to be the people that you want. Now, also, you have Gervonta Davis with an announcement. Now, before I get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation. Hit the subscribe button so that you can be notified of when we release more videos, which we do on a daily basis. And we also have live streams on a daily basis. Always very good boxing conversations. So definitely join the community. Even if you don't agree with me, it's still good conversations to be had, especially in the live streams where we talk about almost everything in boxing in those live streams. If we don't catch it in the video, we're going to talk about it in the live streams. Now, also, I want to say thank you to the longtime subscribers and supporters of the channel. You guys are absolutely essential to the success of the channel. So I want to say thank you very, very much for continuing to support. As always, I have to say thank you to the key supporters of the channel, like Barbara D. Again, thank you for all the support. See you in the next live stream, in the next video. All right, so let's get into this. All right, so Jaron Ennis is going to be fighting. Gervonta Davis is going to be fighting. Frank Martin and Michelle Rivera are going to be fighting. These are all Showtime fighters. And apparently, you know, the log jam has been lifted from Showtime. Now that Terrence Crawford has moved on to go fight David Avancian on Black Prime, something that people have been speculating about and believing to be the truth for a while, that the reason that you haven't seen a lot of fights coming out of the PBC in the second half of the year is because of the biggest fight trying to be made, but because they were trying to hold off different fight dates, they couldn't assign the fight dates to fighters because they wanted to make sure they waited until they knew when Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford were going to be locked in. This is something that happens in boxing all the time. For example, when Canelo Alvarez, until you know when Canelo Alvarez is going to fight in September, or if he's going to fight, you know you really can't make any type of fight plans for that date because you don't want to compete against that real big fight. So a lot of the talk about Showtime going out of the business of boxing and PBC being broke because of these fighters aren't getting fights recently. Hey man, we'll see if that bears true in the second half of 2023. But as far as what's happening now, we're actually starting to get some fights laid out. Now, as far as Jaron Ennis says he has a fight date and he has a fight location. So you know what that means. It means he's not fighting Errol next. Okay, you know he's not fighting Errol Spence Jr. next. And also, that means you know he's not fighting Keith Thurman next, because those guys are not going to be settled in for another fight until the WBC does what it is supposed to do this weekend or this week, which is see if they're going to mandate the fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Keith Thurman, right? So Keith Thurman is not going to agree to fight to a fight with Jaron Ennis if he thinks that he may be able to put Errol Spence Jr. into the position to have to fight him. Errol Spence Jr. also has multiple mandatories due, so he's not going to take one mandatory ahead of the other mandatory. The question just is whether or not for Errol Spence, whether or not he's going to take a voluntary before that. Now, who would Jaron Ennis be fighting next? Cannot say really kind of out there as far as who he could be fighting next. Now, if Stanionis is out there, and Stanionis is not able to get the fight with Errol Spence Jr. next, maybe Jaron Ennis will fight Stanionis. Because if he fights Stanionis, he would be fighting Stanionis to become the WBA regular champion. And that, I don't know if that would put him as a second mandatory for Errol Spence Jr. or not, because, the mandatory, because it just depends on whether the WBA is still trying to push to consolidate belts. But that very well could be a good situation for for Jaron Ennis by fighting Amanda Stanionis. And also, I think Stanionis is somebody that, would have the courage to fight Boots. And it would be a big fight it would definitely be, a win for him. That would be a really, really big, that'd be a really big thing. Now, also, I do believe that Jaron Ennis is ranked. Well, I know that Jaron Ennis is ranked inside of the top 3 for the WBA. So he could be in position. So he really is in position to be the mandatory for Stanionis. Now, I also know that Virgil Ortiz had petitioned the WBA to have Stanionis fight him. Right now, if that's the case, that would leave Jaron Ennis to get in position, to be the mandatory for the WBO, right? Because I do believe once you're able to fight for the WBA title, the WBA regular title, if that's what Virgil Ortiz does, and if he's successful and wins that fight, then I don't think he would be ranked as the number 1 guy in the WBO anymore. And then Jaron Ennis would move up and be in a position to be named the mandatory for Terrence Crawford after that 18-month gap expires between the time that he fought Sean Porter I do believe it was last December. I think it was last December that he fought him, maybe last November. And the 16 months would be, what is that? It's the 6th month of June. So June or July of 2023 would be that 18-month gap that he gets. And the reason that Terrence Crawford gets 18 months and not a 12 months to have a mandatory named for him is because he's the WBO super champion and not just the WBO champion. And so therefore, in that scenario, you don't get the regular 12 months, you get an extra 18 months because they want to encourage you to make big fights. And I don't really believe that Terrence Crawford is going to go into the fight with Errol Spence Jr. next. That's just my gut feeling. But anyway, I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait to hear who it is that he's going to fight. On the outside of it, maybe it could be somebody like a Speedy Rashidi Ellis, somebody like that. That would be a good one. Cody Crowley is out there, who's a very good welterweight. Of course, what I would love to see. If he's going to get a soft touch, it's going to be funny. Let's get him with Blair. Woo! The Flair Cobbs, man. Now, also along with that, we got Gervonta Davis saying that he's, putting January out there as maybe the date that he is going to get, a fight. So it's a lot of stuff coming up for the PBC. I hope these things come through, and I hope they wind up being very exciting and fun fights in the first part of 2023, because they really had a very, very good year in the beginning of 2022. It really didn't falter. Boxing really didn't falter until around the June timeframe. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.